It's a Thursday, and it's the Ringer Gambling Show brought to you by FanDuel. I'm the prop queen, Ariel Epstein. It's a big night for me and a big night for someone else here on the show because we've got two teams going head to head. Thursday night football, Ravens, Dolphins, the return of Lamar Jackson, MVP. Ravens 7.5 point favorites. We're going to break this game down. We've got to break down a lot of games coming up for week 9 in the NFL. World Series action. We're going to get a game 6, potentially World Series clinching opportunity for the Toronto Blue Jays. I've got John Jastremski and Raheem Palmer here, as I do every Thursday. Bodega Locks did get taken over for the first place spot, which kind of pissed me off this week. But it's fine. We've got Ravens-Dolphins, and for the first time, me and JJ really are going head to head in years.
Well, let's cool the jets here on the Ringer 107. Okay, we had a team that came out and had a monster week. We still put together another winning week. If we continue to do that over the next 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever it might be, we're going to be exactly where we need to be. So I, for one, am not going to be sounding any alarm off that we are no longer in first place because, Ariel, nobody gives a rat's ass if you're in first place at the end of October. What matters is, are you first place at the end of the whole shebang? So we'll be okay.
I know Raheem was very active in our group chat this weekend because of our
I
Ringer
love it. Raheem's always active, right, buddy boy? Raheem's always
Yeah,
active.
most definitely.
He's into
Most
it.
definitely.
This is the Ringer Gambling Show presented by FanDuel, and if you're betting on the NFL, FanDuel's the place to do it. They've got everything. Same game parlays, quick bets for when you want to jump in live and your way so you can set your own lines. The app's fast, it's easy to use, and best of all, when you win, you get paid out instantly. Download the FanDuel app or go to FanDuel.com/gamblers to get started. Must be 21 and older, and present in select states are 18 and older in D.C., Kentucky, and Wyoming. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut.
The Ravens are laying 7.5 in Miami tonight, Thursday night football. Once Lamar got announced in, the spread didn't really move because odds makers were baking into the line. It was Lamar. What moved was the total, JJ. And I'll start with you as a Dolphins fan. That total goes up from 49.5 to 51.5. How high is too high?
Listen, I think this is going to be a crazy shootout. Now, am I going to sit there and tell you, Ariel and Raheem, I'm willing to rush to the window in a Thursday night environment and play a total as an over at 51.5? Not necessarily, but I sure as hell am not going anywhere near the under in this game. You got to consider a couple of different factors. Yes, there is a rust element to Lamar Jackson coming back. Lamar Jackson is a Hollywood, Florida boy. Anytime he sees the Miami Dolphins, I could give you a game in 2019. He absolutely lit him up.
Let's not talk about the one where you came back from behind and won.
Well, I was going to say, he did still light the Miami Dolphins up in that game and threw for like 4 or 5 touchdowns and had a crazy stat line. 2019 lit him up. 2022 in a losing effort lit him up. And then basically won and sealed the MVP 2 years ago in the second to last game of the year right after the Monday night game. So what I'm getting at here, gang, is Lamar sees the Dolphin colors and he's like, I got to go and put on a show. And other than the game he had on the Thursday night in 2021, that's what Lamar Jackson usually tends to do. So you have that in play. You have a Dolphin defense that, yes, shut down Bijan Robinson, and yes, shut down the Atlanta Falcons, but no Drake London, no Michael Penix. I am not one to believe that, hey, all of a sudden Miami has found something defensively. By the same token, the Raven defense, as you know, Ariel, hasn't stopped anyone. So if we are talking about the total in this game, it's got to be over a pass. Now, when it comes to the side in this game, and I'm sure Raheem is going to have some thoughts on this, Baltimore is going to be teased. Baltimore is going to be parlayed. Baltimore is going to be in everything known to man going into the weekend. Lamar's return. Dolphins are not any good. Tua in prime time. The numbers are not particularly good as well. I think this game is going to be closer than you think. If you look at Miami offensively, they had the embarrassment in Cleveland, which maybe set offensive football back 50 years. They also had the week 1 dud against Indianapolis. But if we, and I know you can't do this, but we're going to do it. If you take those 2 performances out of the equation, other than that, Miami's been a pretty solid offensive team. Therefore, I think they will be able to do enough to stay within margin, to stay within a number. I think it'll be a successful return for Lamar. I think he will go and put on a show. But as far as the side is concerned, Ariel, I think those teaser plays, those parlay plays, a lot of the action that people will have saying, Ravens, just throw them in, it's going to be easy. I think you will have to sweat it out over the final few minutes of the game. Here's how the game will go. It's going to be crazy high scoring. Tua will have the ball down 6 with a chance to win a game, and we'll throw an interception. That would be my money. That's how I see this shaking out with Miami and Baltimore.
As a Ravens fan, that would take a miracle if the Ravens don't pick anybody off, Raheem.
Well, for me, I'm playing over here. It was 49.5. It was 50.5. I hate giving out the worst of the number, but obviously we're recording this on Thursday morning. My model makes this game 53.5. You're looking at two defenses which are in the bottom 10 in terms of EPA per play and success rate. When you look at EPA, the Ravens are 30th, the Dolphins are 27th. So these are two really bad defenses. And I feel like the Dolphins really played above their head last week against the Atlanta Falcons. And this is a spot where I think Baltimore could almost name their score. I mean, when you look at how they've scored with Lamar Jackson in the lineup, you're talking 40 points against the Buffalo Bills, 41 points against the Cleveland Browns, 30 points against the Detroit Lions. And you can argue in that game, the Ravens really left some points on the board. I think they have a ridiculously high floor, and there's a reason why you're looking at a team total for the Baltimore Ravens, which is 30.5. Now, I'm not going to go over on their team total because I think the Dolphins are capable of kind of keeping up here. Like, I think last week's performance showed us that they didn't quit. And, historically, this Mike McDaniel's offense has, they've scored pretty efficiently against this Ravens team. So I'm going to go over 51.5. Obviously, if you can find a 51, that would be ideal because we know 51 is a key number in NFL totals. So look for a 51. If you can find that, that's great. I don't recommend having that hook on there with, 51 being a key number. So definitely look for that.
Do you want to say something, JJ? You put your
So, no, I want to ask you, Ariel, as someone who is a Raven fan, and I think most people are looking at this game as a foregone conclusion. Are you expecting a stress-free Thursday night? Or do you expect that you will be biting fingernails late in this game saying, how is this game this close?
If any Ravens fan says that they expect any kind of stress-free game, they're not a Ravens fan.
Fair enough.
There is no Ravens game that exists that's not stress-free when you have a head coach in John Harbaugh who, back to that game against Miami, blows leads. The Ravens were up by double digits again against a Dolphins team that wasn't that great, and they ended up losing that game. So there is nothing about the Ravens that keeps me hopeful, not biting my nails. I'm going to sit there and hope and pray that the Ravens find a way to win this game.
Do you like Miami plus the number?
I wouldn't lay 7.5 with the Ravens.
No, me neither. Raheem, I know you didn't give a play on the total. Or you gave a play on the total, excuse me. You didn't give a play on the side. Is Baltimore laying 7.5 way too many points? Because that's my feel.
So I don't really have much of an opinion on this one. For me, I don't like to back teams where their quarterback is coming back off of an injury.
Me too.
Like that is, something I just don't like to do. And I think it's going to be very difficult to find any value on Baltimore going forward because they need all of these games like blood. And ultimately, we know how good this offense is with Lamar Jackson. So I'm not seeing any value. I think, obviously when you're betting sports, you're buying low and you're selling high, just like a stock. But you're basically buying Baltimore at peak numbers here. Obviously you can get some value on them last week with, Snoop Huntley or Tyler Huntley, whatever he's calling himself now. You get some value on them last week, but now Lamar Jackson is back. You're not getting any value.
No, 7.5. It's too many for me with a quarterback coming off a hamstring injury. I do have faith in the Ravens, but I'm not laying the points. I would look at a tackle plus assists prop. I love tackles plus assists in prime time. I have to wait till midway through the season until I get some numbers together. My best bet in the day does have to do with a very interesting way to bet Lamar, a little more unique, but I'm going to save that for the end of the show for best bets. Miami's cornerback, Rasul Douglas, to go over 4.5 tackles plus assists is at even money. He's gone over this in 7 of the last 10 primetime games, and he had 6 and 7 as a Buffalo Bill against the Ravens the last couple of years. So he's faced the Ravens in big spots before. Nonetheless, when you play well in prime time, you'd be surprised how many great linebackers, how many great corners, how many great defensive players don't end up playing well in prime time. A few years ago, I made a lot of money off the Bucks linebacker Devin White because I was just betting him over in prime time. So if you're somebody that loves to come up big in a big spot, and all the Miami Dolphins players I looked at in prime time, a lot of them struggled or their number was too high because it didn't account for a short week. Russell Douglas on a short week has done well, in prime time has done well, and he's familiar with this Ravens team the last couple of years in big spots. So I'm going to take Russell Douglas to go over 4.5 total tackles plus. So it's tackles plus assists. Anytime touchdown props. I know Jack reached out to us today, and both of us wrote in the group chat. Raheem, you go first. Who do you like anytime touchdown?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it basic. I'm gonna go with Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. I mean, obviously we know this Dolphins defense isn't very good. I expect some red zone trips for the Baltimore Ravens, and I expect Derrick Henry to be able to, get those opportunities. It's minus 240, but I actually think you can take him to score 2+ touchdowns.
Ooh.
I don't know what that number is. Actually, I'm gonna look it up on FanDuel right now. It's plus 210. So if you want to get frisky, that's probably how it would go.
JJ?
The prop prince has returned.
Yes,
Ariel.
he has.
I must
How many weeks
say,
in a row has this been?
we are on what the kids like to call a monstrous heater with the anytime touchdowns. The Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game was outrageous. To go and hit Washington, to go and hit Chase. All right, nobody's flexing over hitting Jamar Chase. But then to throw in Jonnu Smith to the mix, if you bet all three of those, you made yourself a fortune. So we have been really good with these all year. That's why I have to give you 3. I feel like I'm in the giving spirit. I gave out 3 last. Hey, I gave out 3 last week, Ariel. All hit. So I feel obligated to give the audience 3. I'm going to give you 1 Baltimore Raven. I'm going to give you 2 Miami Dolphins. The Baltimore Raven I am giving you is Florida boy Zay Flowers. Lamar Jackson is back. I mentioned the idea of Lamar wanting to put on a show in front of the South Florida faithful. This will be Zay Flowers' first game in Hard Rock Stadium as a member of the Baltimore Ravens. Family will be there. Friends will be there. Lamar is back. Let's force feed the dude. Plus 125 is a small number, giving you Zay Flowers. A little bit of a bigger number. Jalen Waddle, who has really come alive since Tyreek Hill has gone down with the injury. He scored last week. He's been a guy that Tua kind of looks to on third down when he's in a situation where he needs that security blanket. He doesn't have Tyreek anymore. He doesn't have Darren Waller in the red zone. Jalen Waddle, I think at plus 185 is a good value. And I got one more for you. This is a deep dive. He had a big game last week, and the number has fallen. It was at 400 for most of the week. It's down to plus 370. Dolphins have to run the ball, have any chance in this game. And I know everyone's going to just look at Devon Achane. Look at Ollie Gordon. He's been really good in short yardage situations. He got a little bit more burn last week. I'm going to take him at plus 370. So to make sure these numbers are right, Zay Flowers at plus 125. Mr. Waddle plus 145. So we're a little off there. My mistake. And then Ollie Gordon. That's the big swing, gang, at plus 370. And one more, Ariel, in the spirit of props. Play Waddle over receiving yards today.
How
like
about
that.
the longest reception prop? 22.5.
I'm a little queasy with that just because if the Dolphin offensive line doesn't hold up, it could be a whole lot of dinks and dunks. I'm not going to go near that one. I'll just play Waddle, who I believe you can get at 70+ receiving yards at 60+ receiving yards at minus 132. That's what I'm going to do.
I'm going to go 3-1 on Rashad Bateman to have an anytime touchdown. He's scored in 6 of the last 7 primetime games with Lamar under center. It's been a few weeks. I hate the words he's due. When you're good in prime time, you're good in prime time. When you've got tendencies to throw to a receiver in prime time, you're going to throw it to that guy. And that guy's Rashad Bateman for Lamar Jackson. 3-1. Speaking of prime time, World Series. I can't believe how quick things can turn. A couple of days ago, I'm sitting up at 3 a.m. Eastern time in my bed watching an 18-inning game that the Los Angeles Dodgers somehow, of course, find a way to win with, of course, a walk-off by Freddie Freeman. The next 2 days, the Toronto Blue Jays, I have to give them their flowers. They come off of that 18-inning game, win 2 more, and then go on to be up 3-2 with a potential elimination game of the Dodgers, a game-clinching, World Series-clinching game at home in Toronto. it's impressive what the Toronto Blue Jays just did. And now they're obviously favored to win the World Series, but they are not favored to win this game. So to win the World Series, Toronto's minus 240, LA is almost 2-1. But this game has the Dodgers minus 152 on the road in Toronto as their plus 128 home dogs, total 7.5. Raheem, I'll start with you. Is this number right on the Dodgers?
I mean, when you look at how Yamamoto has been pitching, I mean, it has to be right.
So do you think that there's value on the Blue Jays at plus 128 to clinch, or is this going to 7?
I got nothing on this personally, so
Okay. So
That's
JJ,
fine. Give it to me.
back.
Give it to me, Raheem. I'm happy to take it. Listen, first things first here, gang. Sorry, I'm in a very chippy mood on this.
Are you? Your
particular
microphone
pod.
wasn't working today.
Yeah,
You seem
I was
pretty good.
having technology issues. My mic was a disaster. So you're getting a very spunky JJ, to say the least. So I'm going to flex a little bit here. I know you
Okay.
like a flex, Raheem. I'm going to give it a flex. I told everybody Toronto was live in this series. I did.
Yeah.
Because their lineup has shown you over the last 2 days why they're such a dangerous team. It's not only the guys at the top of the order. It's not only the Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s of the world. They lose George Springer for the last 2 games. And it hasn't mattered because 1 through 9 throughout the lineup, they are flat out relentless. Schneider leads off the game with a homer. Think about the impact that a guy like Alejandro Kirk has had in the middle of the order.
How about Jimenez?
Jimenez, Clement, who, by the way, could play for my baseball team any day of the week. What a gamer. What an unbelievable player. These guys have shown up in such a great way in this series. Toronto has earned the opportunity to be where they're at. They got to win one more game. Now, that all being said, Raheem, nobody has been more hot. Nobody has been more locked in than Mr. Yamamoto. And Toronto's lineup,
It's 146 now, just for clarity.
146. There we go. So it's been bouncing back and forth because it was in the 140s, got as high as 152. Now it's back at 146. There's an argument. Hey, Toronto saw them in game 2. They're a great lineup. They can adjust. Remember, Yamamoto in this postseason has not faced a lineup twice in a series, right? You think about the wild card series, pitched once. Phillies series, pitched once. Brewers series, pitched once. So we haven't seen the, hey, we just got mowed. This is what this guy did well. How do we go and counter that? But at the same token, the Dodgers have the exact same opportunity with Kevin Gausman on the mound. The way I see it, gang, this series has been so much fun. The 18-inning game was off the rails. The Blue Jays showed you what kind of stones they have coming back and winning the next 2 after losing a game like that. That tells you a lot about them. I think we're destined for a 7th game here. I really do. I think I'm going to be sitting down Saturday night. I'm off. I'm going to have a couple of cervezas in my hand, and I'm going to be sweating out my Blue Jay to win game 1, Dodger to win the series bet, which I thought was a shoo-in after 18 innings. Not so fast. But we are going 7.
The Jays this season have gone under their strikeout prop. The fact that Yamamoto had 11 strikeouts the last game against Toronto, it's just not something that typically happens. And don't forget, he pitched a complete game. Milwaukee was his start before that, and he had 7 strikeouts. But that team's a lot higher of a lot more of a strikeout-prone lineup than the Toronto Blue Jays. The Jays have been one of the most contact-heavy teams in baseball. They've been one of the least strikeout-prone teams in baseball. Seeing them twice, also a potential elimination game. If there is any kind of funny business by the 5th inning, 6th inning, as much as the Dodgers don't want to turn to the pen and haven't turned to the pen as much because it's been bad, they're not going to keep Yamamoto on the mound if he doesn't look sharp and if the Jays are hitting him. So in a potential elimination game against a low K rate lineup, I've got to take an under of 6.5 strikeouts in a back-to-back start against the same team. So give me the under 6.5 Ks for Yamamoto against the Toronto Blue Jays.
I have one more I want to chime in with. And Raheem, this is for you because we talk about this a lot when we've done NBA shows together, Ariel, and a team is down 3 games to 2. I feel like Raheem and I have been over this team where it's like, hey, if you like a team in game 6, go and play them in game 7. But Raheem, my question to you is, I don't know if I feel good about that because despite the pitching advantage the Dodgers may have in game 6, I think Toronto's lineup against Glasnow matches up really, really well. I mean, they had great at-bats against him at Dodger Stadium. I don't like that matchup for the Dodgers. So normally we're like, hey, down 3-2, you like them in game 6, play them automatically to win the series. I'm not doing that with the Dodgers because I think Toronto's going to win in 7. I really do.
The question you have to ask yourself when it comes to this is, what will be the price on Glass now versus who's pitching?
It'll be a whole Scherzer. It probably would be lined up as Scherzer, but as you know, he ain't going deep into that game. He's maybe going one time through the order. But I think Toronto Ariel is winning this series. I don't think it will be on Friday night. But I think north of the border, they're going to be having a party on Saturday, and it's going to be an epic one. Knowing those Canadians and how they like to party, they're going to be having a whole lot of fun.
It's funny. I was talking to some Canadians who said they still would rather have a Stanley Cup over a World Series first, but they'll be happy with
Beggars
bringing
can't be choosers, Ariel. I don't want to hear it. I haven't seen my team win a title since 2009. Toronto's already celebrated an NBA championship. They're one win away from a World Series. Hey, listen.
They're having a good time. And you're going to slay the dragon. So that's what everybody loves, is slaying the dragon. So JJ predicts that we're not going to see a repeat champion in baseball yet again, since our Yankees, of course, in the late 90s. We're going to take a break for the podcast audience. And if you are tuning in, for your YouTube subscribers, make sure to subscribe if you're not, like, comment. We appreciate all the love. But for the podcast audience, we'll be right back. Bell, week 9, the game of the week. It's not even close. Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. You've got the Chiefs laying 1.5 in Buffalo. The total went up from 51.5 to 52.5. It's now the 8th time these two have played since 2021. Kansas City's been hot. Buffalo, people are down on them. Raheem, are we too down on Buffalo?
I don't know how you can be too down on Buffalo. I don't think Buffalo is in the same class as Kansas City at all. Like, I truly don't believe that. I mean, I think you look at this Kansas City Chiefs offense, they're absolutely rolling. I mean, it wasn't like that to start the year because obviously you had the injury to Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice was suspended, but they're taking on this Buffalo Bills defense, which really isn't good at all. And now they're missing Ed Oliver. So, I mean, you're talking about a Bills defense, which is 13th in EPA per play, 12th in success rate, but I don't know if the metrics really can break down how bad this defense is. So there's a reason why this line opened close to a pick 'em, and it's almost up to 3 at this point in time. So I like the Chiefs in this game. I think this is a Chiefs smash spot.
You know, this is an interesting game from this standpoint for me, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Normally with the Buffalo Bills, they have success against Kansas City in the regular season. They've won the last 3 matchups in the regular season when these teams go head to head. We know it's a much different story come January. Both teams, believe it or not, really do face a little, I don't want to say desperation because they're both going to be playoff teams, but there's a little bit more heightened urgency in the idea that it's not a shoo-in for either, that they're going to go and win their division with the emergence of the New England Patriots in the AFC East. You throw in the fact that Denver's off to a nice start. The Chargers have already beaten the Chiefs head-to-head. So the reality is both of these teams really need this game. I'm a little queasy fading Josh Allen at home after Buffalo had a big performance against the Carolina Panthers last week, and they really ran the football, and you want to tell me Kansas City's on a short week? All of that may be true. That said, Raheem, I'm with you, buddy boy. I like the Chiefs in the spot. If I had to play the game, now I don't know if this is going to be a candidate for the Ringer 107, but the Chiefs are playing a much better brand of football. They are a much more complete team from what I've seen, especially over the last few weeks. And Kansas City's offense is rolling. I don't trust Buffalo's defense. You know Kansas City's going to gear up for James Cook and Josh Allen. Are they going to be able to make enough big plays in the passing game? My money here is on no. I'll take the Chiefs.
This is always a great prop game because you've got a high total at 52.5, should be closely contested. A couple of things that stood out to me. Buffalo is actually, despite their defense having a few holes, they've been really good against tight ends. Second least receiving yards allowed per game to tight ends. Travis Kelce coming off a big game. They're going to limit him. They're going to make Mahomes throw to everybody else that's not named Travis Kelce. So I would go under on Kelce, which I'll get to again at the Queen's Corner. Josh Allen, his number for his rush attempts is 7.5, even money. And he's had at least 10 rush attempts against Kansas City in every game of his career. That number is very weirdly low, granted, looking at this season. it's because Josh Allen has only hit this over in 2 of his 7 games. So I'm going to just be on props for this game.
You know
So,
what? I
so
don't
you know
blame you,
what's an
Ariel.
interesting thing? If you look at the Buffalo home games this year, they've only covered one game.
They didn't cover
They
against
didn't
Miami.
cover against the Saints.
They had no business covering against Baltimore.
They
Sorry,
actually,
Ariel.
so
I
I
lost
mean,
money on
literally,
that
the only
too,
game they
but
covered was the comeback against Buffalo, against Baltimore, because they lost
Baltimore
outright against the Patriots. So
and New England, they
yeah,
lost
so they
outright.
haven't
Great point.
covered. I
Great
mean,
point.
I would say for this sake, they haven't covered a game all year long at home. So I think the Bills just might be just overvalued at home this season. And like to me, as you look at some of those games, the Saints put up 19, the Dolphins put up 21, the Ravens put up 40. So like pretty much the only offenses that they've held down this year were the Jets and the Panthers without
With
Bryce
Andy
Young.
Dalton. With
Yeah,
Andy
I
Dalton.
mean, they haven't held down any. Like Atlanta put up 24, and they probably could have put up more because obviously they ran out of bounds at the 1 yard line with 0 seconds left in the first half. So this defense hasn't held down anybody except for two of the worst offenses in the league.
Is there any concern though with Kansas City playing a short week?
No, I think at this point in time, you're talking about a team with championship caliber, championship pedigree, and they kind of need this game because I mean, like you're looking. I mean, obviously the Bills need this game as well because they're actually behind in the division, but this is pretty much this game is going to decide the MVP. And you're looking right now on FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're looking at the awards right now, you got Mahomes and Josh Allen 1 and 2 for MVP. I think if Mahomes wins this game, you might just be able to lock this thing up or be as close as possible to locking this thing up.
And just so you know, in case this has any kind of factor, well, makes any kind of decision for you guys, the Chiefs are going into a bye, and the Bills are going to Miami next week.
I'll say this. If you like the Bills, put something on Josh Allen to win MVP.
Because this would be a statement performance for him.
This will be a statement performance from him. And then also, it'll put him in a position to where he's already beaten Lamar Jackson. Now he's beating Patrick Mahomes. There'll probably be a half game or a game back for the division. And they have an easy schedule going forward.
We've got a big surprise team this year, and it's Indianapolis Colts, who are 7-1 on the season. And now my dog is coming to say hello for the show.
Marley wants to chime in on
Marley
Colts
wants
Steelers.
to chime in on this Colts Steelers game. We don't root for the dog. We're not talking about the dog for the Steelers. We don't root for them. But
I don't
the
know. That might be a
Indianapolis
little
Colts,
bit of a sign, Ariel. A dog with the Steelers coming in. I don't know.
I know, is that a sign? Because the Ravens might win and then the Steelers will win. Hey, listen, it was a big win that the Ravens won last week with Tyler Huntley, and the Steelers get a massive loss at home to the Packers, losing 35-25 in prime time in the Aaron Rodgers revenge game against his former team. But now they're getting the Colts, who now Steelers on the road. They're catching 3 was the last that I saw. Catching 3 in Indy, total 50.5. JJ, Colts, we still buying in?
Listen, the Colts have been a wagon. There's no getting around that. They're 7-1. They're taking no prisoners. They've been the biggest surprise without question in the NFL this season. And this gang is well aware of the fact that I had the Pittsburgh Steelers last Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. And I know the narrative last Sunday was Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love. That game was not about Aaron Rodgers. That game was about the Pittsburgh defense looking like a bunch of fossils, looking like a bunch of old, slow, decrepit type of players. The fear I have, Raheem, with this game, the Colts are due for a stinker. It's coming. I'm sorry. You're telling me the Colts are going to go like 15-2 this year? I'm not ready to go that far yet. I think they're going to win their division. I think they're going to win double-digit games. But I just kind of feel like you're building towards the, here comes the regression game. And this is a must if you really think about it for the Steelers. They're at home. Raheem knows about the Mike Tomlin rah-rah spots. This kind of fits the motif. You've lost back-to-back games. You're playing a team that's 7-1. You're getting 3. I hate doing this, guys, because listen, I know the Steelers didn't treat me well last week, and I know their defense stinks. I don't like this spot for Indianapolis. This is Steelers a pass game for me.
So this one's interesting because I did not like the Steelers last week. Like I truly didn't like them last week. I actually took the Packers in some contests, some personal contests.
Should have talked me out of it, by the way. Just saying.
I mean, you were adamant on it, so I kind of let you.
I was. I thought Rodgers would play great, and honestly, Raheem, at the end of the first half, I was like feeling frisky. I was like, "Let's go, man."
Yeah, I thought that was a game where the Packers kind of had to make a statement because they hadn't made one all year long. For me, I just think this is an over spot. I think you're looking at 50.5. You spoke about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Well, I don't think the Indianapolis Colts defense is very good either. I mean, we know the Colts are first in EPA per play on offense, second in success rate. I think this is a game where the Steelers should be able to score efficiently. Now, you look at Mike Tomlin, he is 59-48 against the spread following defeat. The interesting thing about this game is when you look at this number, the Colts are laying 3. What were the Packers laying last week? They were laying 3.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of got to ask yourself, are the Colts truly on the same level as the Packers? I'm not sure that's the case. So I think this would be Pittsburgh or pass. If you can get a 3.5, that would be absolutely incredible. So I would try to, wait this out. But I do think this is a game where the Steelers should be able to score efficiently. I think you see it over. I think this Colts defense, they really haven't faced many top tier offenses. The only offense that they faced that were top 10 in EPA per play was the Rams. Outside of that, you look at some of these offenses. Look at the offenses that they've played. They played the Miami Dolphins. They played the Denver Broncos, the Tennessee Titans, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Arizona Cardinals, who didn't have Kyler Murray, the Chargers, who were banged up, and then they played the Titans again. So you could argue that this Pittsburgh Steelers team might be the second best team or the third best team that they've played all year, and certainly the second best offense. So it's Pittsburgh or pass, but I like the over 50.5.
I like Pittsburgh in this spot also. Just a lot of hate on the Steelers coming off of the loss against Green Bay, and everyone all in on this Ravens train. The Steelers aren't horrific, and to lose back-to-back games where you'd be catching 3 at home seems a little fishy. So I think I would say I would take Pittsburgh, but the way I'm going to play it, because I do lean Pittsburgh, is taking Daniel Jones over his pass attempts, 32.5. He's gone over in 2 of 3 this year on the road. If this game's going to be close, he's going to have to throw and go away from his best asset in Jonathan Taylor. The Steelers have been best against the run in years past, so they're smart enough to know, let's take Jonathan Taylor out of the game and make Daniel Jones throw the football. He's also going up against the Steelers defense that's allowed the second most pass attempts per game and the most passing yards per game. If you're going to attack something, if you're the Colts, you do make Daniel Jones throw the football and attack the secondary for the Steelers. So I'm going to take over 32.5 pass attempts for Daniel Jones in this game. We've got some other injury updates, and there's a lot of quarterbacks coming back this week, including Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy. Raheem, when you've got a quarterback, like we said, coming off of injury, it's not that fun to have to go and bet. However, he clearly was worth around a point because we saw that line for Minnesota move 1 point in the Vikings' favor throughout the week with the announcement of McCarthy, despite going on the road to face Detroit.
I don't know if that was him being worth a point or that was just people saying that this number is going too far. You got to remember this line opened 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
It got all the way up to 9.5.
Yeah.
So I don't think that had anything to do with McCarthy. I think we knew that McCarthy was playing, from the start of the week when Carson Wentz was announced out for the season. So I think that's just, number grabbers.
Because this line went to like 9.5 at one point.
Yeah.
It's down to 8.5.
Yeah, I think that's just sharp.
Is it too many points still?
I don't think so. I think the biggest thing with this game is that the Lions have owned this Vikings team. I mean, there's 6-1 in their last 7 games. And this Vikings defense, I mean, they haven't proven that they can stop anybody. They definitely haven't proven that they can stop the run, as we saw last week against the Chargers. And the Eagles were able to pass all over them. Jalen Hurts had his best game of the season up to that point. So we know that Brian Flores likes to send that blitz. Well, Jared Goff plays tremendous against the blitz. So I think this is a total mismatch. I think it's a smash spot for the Detroit Lions. It sucks kind of getting the worst of the number at 8.5, but I think this number is fair, and I think the Lions probably win this at 10 or more. So
I'm not getting in front of this Lion freight train. No way. Not doing it. And I get the division game aspect. I get hey, it's a team, there's a familiarity, there's a comfort level, 8.5 points. Lions maybe a little sluggish off the bye. This Viking team doesn't have the same magic they did last year. And Raheem hit on a very important element. A lot of people, Ariel, is just going to say, oh, it's the quarterback. Sam Darnold's in Seattle. It's been a mix of J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz, and it's not the same. Well, it's also not the same defensively. They've had a lot of guys shuffling in and out of the lineup. The defense has not had the same level of success. And now you go up against one of the most well-oiled machines that the NFL has to offer. If you're playing this game, and it's become a little game, there's no way in the world I'm taking the Vikings. No way.
Okay. A lot of points there for Minnesota taking on the Detroit Lions, catching 8.5. That number jumped all the way around from 7.5 look ahead, 9.5 to 8.5. Total did go up by a point. I've got some props from games that we haven't really talked about yet for Queen's Corner. I did say this one, Travis Kelce under 47.5 receiving yards, went over this in 5 straight weeks. So it's kind of low that the book would be giving you a number that he's hit in 5 straight weeks. That's because Buffalo's second least receiving yards per game to tight ends at 22. My exciting one, which I think you guys might like. 5 yards for his longest reception. Missed last week with a concussion. No Pats are retained for Denver with a pec injury. So Collins over in 4 of his 6 games this year, and both games at home of 22.5 yards for his longest catch. Jeremy McNichols over 17.5 receiving yards for Washington. Over in 2 of 3 primetime games with 30+ receiving yards. With no Terry McLaurin, you could use McNichols to help you out of the backfield. And Seattle has allowed the second most receiving yards per game to running backs. And they've been bottom 5 against pass-catching backs, the Seahawks. Even last year, they were bottom 5. So I'm finding the pass-catching back for Washington, and that's Jeremy McNichols. So I only had 3. So any of those stand out to you guys?
Okay, yeah, Nico Collins. That's the one that really caught my eye, Ariel, because I have a lot of thoughts on this Denver-Houston game, and I'm going to try to make the case for a certain team in the Ringer 107. The Pat Surtain injury is
massive,
monumental. Yeah, I mean, he's the best corner in the league. He's right there with Stingley. The guy is as game-changing as it gets. They were able to survive in the second half against Dallas last week, and I know their defense got after Dak Prescott and ended up being a long day for Dak Prescott. But you saw Houston offense put up almost 500 yards of offense. Shockingly, I can't believe we're saying Houston offense in the same sentence, Raheem. It's weird. But they did have a breakthrough game against Robert Saleh's depleted Niner group. And I think, hey, you get a little confidence going on offense. The number 1 corner out for Denver. Nico Collins back. Big play. I like it. I'm on board with that one.
What is Nico Collins receiving yards in general?
I'm going to pull it up right now for you since you asked, because I'm kind of curious too. Here we go. Hang on, guys. Patience, please. If you want to play him over 60 receiving yards, Raheem, minus 120. 70 plus at 126.
So the concern I have is that this Texans offensive line, and I think that is a huge mismatch here. Obviously, we know last week the 49ers, they couldn't rush the passer. But this Broncos defense, I mean, they're at the top of the league in terms of sack and pressure rate. So I think depending on Nico Collins to, run a long route, that's what scares me. So I almost rather would go his over on receiving yards and just, hope that he kind of catches the volume more so than expecting a long receiving pass. That's the only thing that scares me. And we know Riley Moss, he kind of leads the league in pass interference penalties. So I wish you could kind of bet on that, because I think if Nico,
I wish those would count as the yardage for a longest catch.
Yeah, I think that's kind of one of the things that scares me, because I think you're gonna see a pass interference.
Okay, well, Those are the three that I like so far going into week 9. And I will make sure to keep updated on the socials, even though I'm going on vacation tomorrow. So who knows how much I'm really going to be paying attention on the beach.
I was gonna say beach bar, football. I think
We
it's
do.
all
We have a tiki
encompassing.
bar on the beach at our hotel. And so every time we're there for a Sunday, everyone's just around the bar.
Where is this?
In Aruba.
Oh,
Must be
cool.
nice. I wish we were going, Raheem.
So
I could
I
use a
watched.
little fun in the sun.
And the best part of all of this, the Ravens can't ruin my Sunday. It's the best. They'll
must
ruin
be
my
nice.
day to day maybe before I leave, but
That's
they
all right.
can't ruin the trip.
Dolphins will ruin the day before the Ravens ruin the day. Sorry, Ariel. I had
At least they're based in Miami and not in Baltimore. But anyway, we're going to get to our Ringer 107 picks coming up next. So for our podcast audience, we'll take a break. Remember, we've been in the lead all year until this past week. So now we're, I think, 1 behind. But we are the show to listen to. So stay right here for Ringer 107, our top 5 picks against the spread going into week 9. If you're following along on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and like. We appreciate it. Welcome back to our podcast audience. It is Ringer 107 time. It's also the Ringer Gambling Show here, sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. Ringer 107 is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Pick'em contest all football season long. Shout out to us, Bodega Locks, Sal and DeBundo, Fantasy Guys, Bill Simmons, and House and Shell. We all are taking part in this, and we are in second place now, unfortunately, despite I would say we've maintained the best pace of everybody. We don't need big swings. We've just got, slow and steady wins the race, Raheem. What are we starting with?
I'm gonna let you start.
Me?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you start.
Ladies first. Yeah, we'll let you start. I like that. Let's change the luck.
I'm going to give you a really ugly one, and it's all because of this crazy sandwich spot. Oh, I don't know if I should save it for...
All right, you want me to go first? I can go first.
I'm going to give you... You know what? I'll give you one that I feel I'm a little more confident on, and then the other one I'll save for you guys to hate on.
Remember, though, you get a pick here. So this
I
is
know.
you. We don't influence this. Like Raheem last week had the Cowboys. I had to roll with it. I'm a team guy. I'll roll with yours. You got to tell me.
I know. Okay, I'm going to lay it with the 49ers. This isn't my controversial
Oh,
pick.
no. I like the Giants.
You do?
I can't, but you like the pick.
Okay, no. So then what about this? Carolina. It's ugly, but I'm going to take... I hate you all.
All right.
Only
about
because
this?
Hear
you
me
know
out
what?
on Carolina. Hear me out on Carolina.
I'm more
Green
on
Bay
board
is coming off
Carolina
a
than
Sunday night
Giants.
game against Pittsburgh, and then they have to play Philly on a Monday night game. So you're in a sandwich primetime spot. Why would they care about the Panthers? I'm not saying that the Panthers will win outright, but it's a double-digit spread in a massive primetime sandwich spot for them, for Green Bay.
I was actually gonna lay it with the Packers. That's the crazy thing.
See, right now I don't like this. This is bad. Can we reset? No, I'm just kidding. We can't reset.
Yeah.
I'm glad that everybody listening is getting a sense for the chaos that is this week because I texted the two of you this. I did not feel great about like any of these games. Like nothing immediately jumped off the page at me where it was like, wow, I can't wait to bet this. Gang, I'm giving you mine. Atlanta Falcons plus the points against the New England Patriots. Because it's the classic spot of New England is a runaway freight train. Atlanta just lost at home to the Miami Dolphins. Oh, New England, Vrabel, man, lay 5.5, no problem. Not so fast, my friends. Not so fast. I think this is way too many points. I think this is a field goal game. I don't care what the quarterback situation may be. I think London will be able to give it a go. I am banging on the table. Atlanta Falcons plus 5.5. That's my pick.
Okay. So we've got Atlanta.
Can I get you on board with that one, Raheem?
So all of the sharps are on New England this week.
On New England?
I mean, not New England, Atlanta. All of them on. Like literally, I've seen this pick from a million content creators.
See, that I don't like that though. I wish you didn't tell me that.
I've literally seen it from everybody. There's not a person in the world, like there's not a podcast in the world I listen to that hasn't given that out. So I understand it. Me personally, right now I'm not betting against New England.
You're not betting New England though.
Yeah, I'm not betting New England.
Okay. All right. So
I had
we got to pick
New
that
England last
stance.
week in some contests. Actually, I hit the same game parlay on the Sunday show with New England. I'm just not betting the game.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So we got one
Okay.
down. Atlanta. Raheem, you got to go. Ariel's still toying right now.
So I wanted to give out the Packers because
When do you like laying? You never lay double
Laying
digits,
double
bro.
digit.
I don't, and I almost laid double digits. Something that we're seeing right now. Favorites are absolutely crushing right now, and I think right now, when you're looking at when you're looking at the state of the NFL, there's probably like 6 or 7 teams that are almost dead on arrival every single week. And the biggest reason why I like the Packers here is that the Panthers have a number of injuries on the offensive line. Taylor Moton, Cade Mays, Brady Christensen, and he's out for the season. So the mismatch here is that Packers defensive line going up against the Panthers. So at 13.5, I think there's a little bit of value. I actually have this at 18. So
It's your pick. Listen, I'm not going near the game. I see. I think football wise, Green Bay should smash them.
yeah.
The question is, does Green Bay, to Ariel's point, look at this game and say, hey, we can get out and dodge, play a C game, win by 10, and go about our merry way? That's, you know what I mean, Raheem? That's, I guess, my fear
The prime
factor
time
with it.
sandwich scares me.
Yeah.
But hey, it's your pick, so you're
Your
rolling
pick.
with it. That's
Hold-
it.
Let's come back. That's why I wanted her to go first.
Well, listen.
Okay,
the two
what
of
about-
you
okay,
have
I
to
haven't
just
even
come to
mentioned
the
this
table and
game
make
yet.
a pick.
This game is a closer one. Washington catching 3 at home against Seattle. Washington's defense, so their defense has been pretty weak, but offensively, Seattle stinks. Washington 13th most efficient in NFL against top 15 strength of schedule. Seattle 22nd against 22nd strength of schedule, and their offense is barely top 10 against the weak schedule. Seattle's their defense, it's been good, but again, offense that hasn't been battle tested. And if you've played the 22nd ranked schedule, but you're not even scratching the top 10 offensively, then Seattle's got offensive problems. So I'm going to take 3 with Washington.
Okay. Who's home for that game? Seattle home?
Washington's home.
Washington.
Ooh, interesting.
Now, do we know about Jaden yet?
I feel like he's going to play.
See, I think it's a good Washington spot, despite the short week. I do.
Yeah.
You want to talk about kitchen sink spots, Raheem?
Yeah.
That's a kitchen sink spot for the Commanders.
Has he practiced?
Well, it's just Thursday now, so it'd probably have to decide if he practiced today more so. Let me look.
Full practice.
And I'm trying
He's
to
playing.
select.
Let's assume he's playing. He practiced. He's playing.
I like the Packers. I like the Chiefs. And believe it or not, I lean towards the Raiders.
I like the Raiders. I like the Raiders.
For my pick, I'm gonna go with. I really, really want to take the Packers. I do. It's square, but I don't know if
It's your pick, bro. It's your pick. I empower my teammates. That's what I'm a player friendly leader. That's what I try to be. You know,
Unless
I
your mic
empower.
doesn't work.
I empower my players.
The biggest thing for me is that this Panthers team is not the same team on the road.
Do it. As long as Ariel signs off on it, I give it your blessing. I
His
give it
pick?
my blessing. It's your pick.
If you look on the road, they've lost 26-10 to the Jaguars. They were getting blown out by the Carolina Panthers. By the Arizona Cardinals before coming back. They lost 42-13 against the Patriots. They beat the Jets, but it's the Jets. You know what? Give me the Packers, 13.5.
Let's go. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Ariel, your turn now.
I'm willing to do the Vegas Raiders with Raheem. I know he likes Vegas.
It's your pick. I'm not.
Well,
I'm staying out of the way of
What
this.
do you mean? I gave out Washington for my pick.
Yeah, we got our 3 picks, so we just
Our
got to
Our 3
decide on the
picks are
final two.
Atlanta,
All right, good.
Washington, and Green Bay.
All right, now we got to discuss. Okay. I didn't know Washington was locked in. I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize. Okay. Raiders a possibility.
Mhm.
Vegas is a possibility. I like the Raiders.
Can I give you another possibility?
Yeah.
Houston Texans.
Yeah, I like
I'm
Texans.
with you.
Okay,
To me, that
one.
line tells you everything you need to know about that game.
I
The
agree with that.
Texans are favored. The Texan defense is healthier. And I know there's concerns about the Texan offensive line, Raheem. I get that. And people are going to look at that matchup with Denver's pass rush and say it's incredibly problematic and scary. All fair, all true. I think Houston's defense is the real deal. And I think Bo Nix in the big game he had last week had a lot more to do with what we saw from your Cowboy defense than it did Bo Nix and his brilliance. So that's another one. I like the Houston Texans.
All right,
I'm with you there. I'm with you there. It's a shame this move because I would have recommended the Bears.
3 now.
I can't take the Bears at 3.
I don't want to go anywhere near that game. That's why Stefan had it in the rundown. I
texted JJ. I said, "Can we change that game? I have no interest in that."
I actually like honestly the over was one of my favorite plays of the week. And now, I mean, they're talking about Joe Flacco is banged up, so Jake Browning's going to be in there.
Yeah, that's why I
might still like the over.
So, Ariel, what was your thought process on San Francisco? Out of curiosity.
The Giants don't have one of their best weapons now in their running back, Cam Scatterbo, and the 40 should be maybe a little bit more if it was supposed to be a closer game. But the Giants still allow the most rush attempts per game, the most rushing yards per game to quarterbacks, to running backs, the most receiving yards per game to wide receivers. The 49ers can attack the Giants defense every which way with their big weapons, especially a Christian McCaffrey. And the Giants, what are they going to do? They're going to have to throw the football. I don't trust the Giants to have to throw the football with no run game against the San Francisco 49ers. Hurt or not, the Niners continue to prove to us that they can win football games.
Here's my pushback on that, though. Giants have been pretty spunky in these home games.
With Cam Scatterbo.
Fair. And he's a big loss for them. He is a big loss for them. But how's San Francisco, other than McCaffrey, moving the ball? Giant defense is going to get a little healthier. Holland should be back in that secondary. It looks like a Debo. Maybe he's going to be able to give it a go. How are they moving the ball?
Let me check the Niners injury report.
So, I mean, that's fine.
The biggest thing for me is that I actually think the Giants should be able to move the ball against this 49ers defense.
Yeah, I mean, Houston had 500 yards of offense last week.
No Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner, no Bryce Huff, and we know Bryce Huff, he had a 15% pressure rate. So, to me, what is the downgrade? I mean, let's be real. We talk about Scatterbo. What's the downgrade from him to Tyrone Tracy?
It's a running back. You can't look at him like
it's like so. It's not like
the year of the running back.
I know, and Jonathan Taylor, obviously, of course. We don't want to. I feel like we don't want to include the Steelers because they did us dirty last week.
I don't mind Pittsburgh.
All right, so here, let's rank our candidates here. It seems like everybody's on board with. Where's 5? Steelers +3. 49ers, Giants, it looks like we're not going to be on board because we have some dissension amongst the ranks. Bears, Bengals, we're not getting the best of the number. Jaguars, Raiders. Where do you stand on Chiefs, Bills, Ariel?
Not with you.
Oh, you like Buffalo?
You on Buffalo?
That's fine. Then we don't include it. That's fine. You know what's a rat? Can I mention this? We didn't get to this game, and it's going to be on Monday, and it's a long ways away. Isn't Cardinal Cowboys such a rat? Raheem?
I'm teasing the Cards. That number
my God,
stinks.
that line is such a rat at -2.5. It stinks to the high heavens.
Yeah, I agree. That line stinks.
That's an over.
53.5 is the total.
But I'm going to tease the Cards.
I'm not betting the Cowboys for the rest of the year unless they're dogs.
Raheem, I don't
unless they're dogs and at home, I might bet them in that Eagles game. That might be the only game I bet them.
Okay. I think our last pick. Chargers, Titans. I know the Titans never cover. We're not touching that game. For what it's worth, by the way, just keep fading the Titans. I mean, that's what I would suggest to everybody. We're not going to do it, but I feel like every week we miss out on opportunities to do so.
Yeah.
It feels like Steelers or Raiders is going to be our last choice, guys.
Yeah, I agree.
I like the Steelers more. However, I'm biased, and I took them last week, and I feel dirty about the fact that that game let us down. And listen, Raheem, betting against the Colts has not been profitable. What Jaguars? I think you guys are on the right side of the Jaguar Raider game. Lawrence does not look good. Turnover luck bound to regress for the Jaguars on defense. But what was that was a game I really didn't want to get in front of, to be perfectly honest with you, Dream.
Yeah, you got both teams coming off a bye. You kind of got to make a lot of assumptions. I think the biggest thing with Jacksonville is if they force turnovers, that's the only reason. That's the only reason why they started 4-1 is because they forced turnovers.
Yeah.
And they were god awful in that game against the Rams in London. Oh my God, did they stink?
They also have one of the worst red zone defenses in the league, and they've allowed a lot of passing touchdowns. You've got Brock Bowers back.
Well, I was
for
just
the
saying that's a
Raiders.
huge key, Ariel. Bowers
Yeah.
playing in this game. That's a huge, huge key because I wouldn't want to go anywhere near the
That's my rationale that the Raiders could put up points against the Jacksonville Jaguars as long as Raiders quarterback Geno Smith doesn't throw any interceptions or anyone fumbles against the Jags. But
Yeah, if they don't
at
turn
some
the
point,
ball
the
over,
turnover ratio has to turn.
yeah, if they don't turn the ball over, I think the Raiders probably win this game outright.
All right, gang.
But I mean, we could go. I mean, it's them, the Steelers.
Niners, Giants out. Chiefs, Bills out. Chargers, Titans out. We don't want to take the Cardinal Cowboy game. We're not doing it.
I'm literally nauseous looking at this slate. Yeah.
Well, you got to find 5. That's the rule, Ariel. Sorry. I'm gonna go last on this. You guys make a vote. between
Raheem, what
those
do you
two
think?
games.
Raiders or Steelers?
I'm gonna say Raiders. No, I'm gonna stay Steelers.
Ariel.
JJ likes Steelers more, so let's go Steelers again. One
I'm
more.
gonna say
Oh,
Steelers.
guys, don't kill me if it loses. Please don't.
I'm not. This one's
I'ma say
not on you.
Steelers
This
just
one's not
because
on you.
I think
It's a
at
great
some
spot
point-
for the Steelers. It is, Raheem. It's a great spot.
at some point the Colts got to come home, and I just think they're not the same. They're not on this. I can't power rate them on the same level as the Packers. I truly can't. In fact,
Let's
who
do
does Steelers play next week?
Steelers' schedule's hard, man. It's hard. That's why this game is really important for them because they
Next
got the
week-
Chiefs.
At the Chargers. Yeah.
If they don't win this game,
Dude, listen to Pittsburgh's schedule here. Let's just listen. Colts home, at the Chargers. All right, Bengals at home, but they already lost to them. At Bears, hosting Buffalo, at Baltimore. They still go to Detroit. And they go at Cleveland, where they never play
I
well.
always said that week 13, 14 back-to-back for Rodgers was going to tell us if he can survive the season or not.
You know what? I think they need this game. Pittsburgh
Yeah.
absolutely needs this game.
I'm gonna go this game just because, and also I still think the Raiders are one of the worst teams in football. They haven't shown me anything. All
Yeah, I was
year.
gonna say you wanted to put Pete Carroll in the retirement home like 2 weeks ago. So
And
it would've
I mean,
been-
I do think it's a good spot for the Raiders, but it's just like they gotta show me
they're the
something.
Raiders. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to take the Steelers.
I'll be blasting Renegade.
Steelers
Don't let
plus
me
3
down,
second
Pittsburgh.
straight. So this one's not on JJ. Atlanta plus 5.5
Nice.
is on JJ. Washington plus 3 is me.
But
Green Bay.
you know what?
minus
It's
3.
crazy. The Raiders lost 31-0 to the Chiefs. And it's like a lot of times you want to play, but I mean the Jaguars also got blown out as well.
Your vote's already cast. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
We're
it.
in. We're-
Vote's done.
We're doing
We
Atlanta
voted.
plus 5.5 is JJ's. Washington plus 3 is me. Green Bay minus 13.5 is Raheem. We all three agree. Houston minus 1.5 and Steelers plus 3.
Let's
Ball
go.
game. Bodega Locks, lock it in. Ringer 107, brought to you by FanDuel. We've got our best bets coming up now here on the Ringer Gambling Show. It's all sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. We also will bring in a little bit of NBA action because now we've got some numbers under our belt. Raheem, what stands out to you in the association?
All right, so if you look at the NBA right now, overs are just hitting at a just absurd rate. You're talking 42 and 26. That's 61.8%. I'm going to go to this Oklahoma City Thunder Washington Wizards game. Let's go over 230.5. I really like this one. Obviously, Oklahoma City, they do have one of the best defenses in the league. You're talking about a team that's second in defensive rating, 105 points per 100 possessions, but on the opposite end, you look at this Wizards defense, 120 points per 100 possessions, 23rd in defensive rating. So I just don't think they're going to get a ton of stops, and I think you should be able to see a fast-paced game. I look at my model in this game, and I think this should be closer to like 235, 236 or so. So I'm gonna go over on this one. And then there's another one I'm going to take. I'm gonna go under on the Golden State Warriors Milwaukee Bucks game. I think it's under 232 and a half. I think this Warriors defense, they're playing tremendously, but I also think they're kind of shooting a little bit above their head right now. You look at the Golden State Warriors, they're shooting 41% from three. You look at guys like Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler, they're definitely shooting over their head from three. So I think at 232 and a half, let's go under on those. So let's go just two NBA totals tonight. So under on Warriors Bucks and then over on Wizards Thunder.
Do you have any other best bets for the weekend across other sports, or are you sticking with the NBA picks?
Um, I'm sticking with those two NBA picks, but if we want to go some football tonight, let's go Ravens, Dolphins over 50 and a half.
Okay. JJ?
I have a loaded card for best bets, so I'm going to apologize in advance. Tonight, we're taking Jalen Waddle, 60-plus receiving yards. Think he's going to be a very busy fella because Tua's got to find somebody he can trust to go and throw the football to. As far as the weekend, Los Angeles Dodgers laying it in Game 6 with Yamamoto on the mound. We are getting a Game 7 on Saturday night, and I think it's going to be a party in Toronto. So if you want to have a little fun, Dodgers to win Game 6, Toronto to win Game 7. NFL card, I'm all over this one. The Atlanta Falcons plus the 5.5. They're going to be within the number against the New England Patriots. So I apologize. I gave you a bunch there. And
I'm laughing because at first I thought we were going to discuss, like when we were first discussing the Bears-Bengals game and JJ and I are saying, let's discuss a different game. He's like, Atlanta, New England, Atlanta, New England. I knew that JJ had something in that game that he was
Oh my
expecting.
Just
God.
saying, it's a good game. Listen, Atlanta's 500 team. New England's been really impressive. I thought it was juicier for the audience. That's just my 2 cents.
That game sounds like a lot of running the football snooze fest against two defenses that don't allow a lot of points. I'm just saying, but okay, go
Raheem,
for it.
I'm shocked you didn't give us Giddy Sixer with Edgecombe and with Maxey. My goodness, what a start to the year.
Oh yeah, it's definitely been tremendous. The Sixers kind of have this two timelines thing going that the Warriors were doing a couple years ago, except for the younger guys are actually carrying it. You look at the Warriors two timelines, and it was just like, all right, what are we doing with these young guys? We got Steph Curry in his prime, so it's refreshing to see. I don't know when Joel Embiid is going to be in shape. I don't know what's going to happen with Paul George, but he's definitely been tremendous. And if you look at him right now, rookie of the year, he's down to plus 140.
Wow.
Now I don't know if he's going to be able to keep this up once McCain comes back, once Embiid is in, full throttle, and once PG comes back. But it's so interesting to see, this rookie of the year market. It's very interesting. As you guys know, I gave out Modest Bazulis, most improved player, 16-1. That's down to plus 950. He's actually tied with Amin Thompson. If you guys saw my NBA video on Twitter. So I think this Bulls team is they're looking pretty good. It's actually very interesting.
I didn't
I
mention
can't
NBA
wait to
best
come
bet.
back from my trip and seriously bet the NBA, because until I usually come back from my trip, I need the NBA to have like 3 weeks under their belt.
You got to let it marinate a little bit. Good spot to take the Knicks, by the way, Friday against the Bulls. Bulls haven't lost the game. Knicks have lost back to
This is
back.
what I wanted to ask you about. Early returns on Mike Brown. I know you weren't high on that hire.
It's too early. Listen, and you're right. I'm not a fan of the hire. I would have kept Tom Thibodeau, but I think that the rash overreaction to what I've seen over the last 2 days is absolutely ridiculous. Like this narrative, Cat doesn't fit in his system. Cat's been beat up. Cat has stinkers. Can I see 30 or 40 games before I'm coming to that conclusion? You know what I mean, Raheem? I think people are getting a little nuts here.
Yeah.
People are already calling for Cat's head. It's kind of crazy, just like my Ravens fans are calling for the Ravens heads. I'm going to go with the best bet for Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. Over 15.5 yards for his longest rush. Not going with him to run a ton, but at least have one big run. He's gone over this in 7 of his last 10 primetime games, 8 of the last 10 primetime games on the road. Miami's allowed the 9th most rushing yards per game to quarterbacks this year, and 71% of quarterbacks to face the Dolphins have gone over their longest rush. Lamar gets loose for at least one big run of 16 or more yards. Any last words, guys, before we sign off?
Let's have a big
research on it because I don't want to put myself out there. I may announce it on Twitter.
Okay.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that. I like the little tease. Follow Raheem over at Twitter or X and find out what that future might be. Our future is hopefully at the top of the leaderboard. For Raheem Palmer, John Jastremski, I'm the prop queen, Ariel Epstein. We'll be back next week here on the Ringer Sports Gambling Pod.
Must be 21 or older and present in select states, or 18 or older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. You must be 21 or older and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 or older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE New York in New York.